everyone, welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new here, welcome. If you are a viewer, a returning viewer, thank you so much for returning. I hope one day you can grace us with a subscription. Thank you to my subscribers, returning subscribers, new subscribers. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch my videos. I appreciate you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit a notification bell. It is going to help my channel with the algorithm. They say it helps, I don't know. So if you don't mind, kindly donate to us a like and all those good things. So today, I don't know what to call this day. It's just a random day in my life, a realistic day in my life. What I do, what I get up to, how I do things, what can my day turn out to be. You might wake up in the morning thinking that I'm going to do 1 2 3, but things don't always pan out the way you think they're going to pan out. You end up not being able to do what you wanted to do. Today was a laundry day. I was supposed to do laundry. Like I said before, I do not have a routine, but I do have days where I say, okay, today I am going to clean, or today I'm going to focus on laundry, and I would set out what I would like for that day to happen. Sometimes it does happen the way I want it to happen, but sometimes it doesn't, but that is okay. I started with hanging my laundry there, and I proceeded into doing dishes. My dishwasher was still running, so I did not actually run my dishwasher last night. So with that being said, I had dishes in my sink that I'm doing hand wash. And what I normally do is that I will do dishes in parts. I don't know if that makes sense. If I'm busy with something else, I would choose not to focus on the dishes only. I will wash a few, the ones that can fit on my drying mat, let them dry, then I will come back and finish off later on. That's how I do things sometimes, especially on a lazy day. On this day, it was a lazy day for me. I wanted to do certain things, but when you wake up and you kind of just have a slow down of some sort, that's how I felt on that day. And I hope you guys are good. I hope you are doing well. I hope Vlogtober is treating you well. I'm not participating to my fellow YouTubers, but for those who are not YouTubers, I hope October is treating you well. Finally, we can get rid of our jerseys. I'm still wearing mine. Don't judge me. I still feel a little bit cold, but I am looking forward to actually not wearing a jersey anymore. still continuing with the house reset, and I am tackling the laundry. I do not remember the last time I did not have a laundry that needed to be folded, or that needed to be ironed, or that needed to be sorted out. It's been a hectic winter. I haven't been able to be up to par with my chores. I don't know for how long, but I'm learning not to beat myself up. As much as I do not like dirty laundry or laundry lying around and all of that, over the few months I had to learn to be okay with it. It's not something that I want to get used to, but I am choosing not to make a big deal out of it, and I am choosing to take each day as it comes. So I am not going to be doing some ironing today, but I'll be doing laundry, hanging, and then sorting them out. The ones that needed to be folded will be folded, and the one that needs to be ironed I'll put separately for me to be able to iron them later. But in the meantime, I'm just sorting things out. I'm sorting the ones that I need to fold, and I'm sorting the ones that don't need to be ironed, put them on separate from the rest, and then the one that needs to be ironed. Actually, what am I saying? Hey, I'm sorting out my laundry. The ones that need to be folded, I'm folding it. The ones that don't need to be ironed, that just need to be hanged, I'm going to hang them. And then the remaining ones will be the ones that needs to be ironed, and that's the one that I'm going to be leaving and putting them separate for me to get to later. I don't put anything, I do not fold anything that needs to be ironed and put in my cupboard. I don't do that. I only put things that are ironed in my cupboard. If it's not ironed, it does not get folded, it does not get into my cupboard. That's how I was raised. I know we do things differently, but I do not like to iron every single time when I need to wear something or when I want to go. I prefer the convenience of grabbing something from the cupboard when I want to go somewhere without having to start by ironing. And when I'm not on top of my ironing, one thing that I really hate is for me to wake up in the morning and iron my husband's clothes for work. That kind of makes me feel like I am an irresponsible wife. That's not something that I enjoy doing. I prefer his clothes to be ready at all times so that he can choose whatever it is that he wants to wear. I do not want him to ask me to iron his clothes in the morning, or for me to ask him, what do you want to wear? If I find myself in that situation or in that position, I really don't feel good about it. So when that was done, I went on to start on dinner, and I was making dinner rolls. These are the best, fluffiest dinner rolls. Guys, please watch the video. I do not think I'm going to write the recipe. Wait, Theo says I should not say the recipe, I should say the recipe. Oh, hi, that child. So I just measured, eyeballed actually 50 gram of rama, which is 70% fat. It's not 100% fat, 70% fat. And I also measured 500 mils of milk, and I am going to use 2 packets of yeast on my recipe. I'm going to start by putting those 2 packets in a bowl, and I'll measure 6 teaspoons of sugar. You can choose to use tablespoon, which will be 3 tablespoons, or you can reduce anyhow you want. And I added about 3/4 of lukewarm water, and I'm mixing that. My spoon has a bit of color because of turmeric. I don't mind it, it's fine. I'm just telling you guys in advance. And I measured 6 cups of bread flour in my container. So basically, but anyway, I will tell you guys what it means. And then I proceeded into measuring about 6 tablespoons now of sugar. Yes. And then I added 3/4 teaspoon, three quarter tablespoon of salt. And then I proceeded into adding quarter cup of vegetable oil or sunflower oil. I also did quarter cup of melted butter, and I put that yeast and sugar and water into the mixture, and I mixing with milk. So let's talk about it. It's 6 cups of, get a pen and paper. 6 cups of bread flour, 500 mils of milk, a quarter cup of vegetable oil, quarter cup of melted butter, 2 packets of yeast, which is 10 grams, 3/4 tablespoon of salt. And then in your flour, you're going to put 6 tablespoons of sugar. And in the yeast mixture, you're going to put 6 teaspoons of yeast, which you are going to mix with 3/4 cup of milk of water. I might have to write this down. I'll see if I cannot write it in the description box, but that's what I used for this, and I mixed it. But I would say use 450 mils of milk, because I did use the entire 500 mils of milk, and I had to add about a half a cup of, or quarter to half a cup of more flour, because I felt like my dough was slightly wet. Yeah, so maybe use 450 mils of lukewarm water. Hanging laundry is still continuing while I'm cooking. I'm preparing dinner, sorting out the laundry, and so this was after an hour. Yes, it was after an hour, and I was punching my dough down. If you are new here, we have a lazy method of making bread. I don't need my dough most of the time, but if I have to, I do. But most of the time, if I'm busy, I don't need it, because it takes up my time. Anything that is more than 2 cups, it takes a little bit longer for one to knead it up until the gluten is developed and it's soft and plump and what. So after that, I continued. I'm finishing doing dishes. Remember, I told you that when I'm busy, I do my dishes in part. So I did soak the pot in my sink, and I was now washing some of the few dishes that I was using, and the ones that we used for lunch. I was washing those up now so that I can continue with my cooking. I do not like to cook with my sink full. While I'm cooking, I'll be busy doing dishes as well. So but this one was the ones that I left on the sink. I left the pots to soak in while I was busy with other things. preparing dinner is continuing. I'm seasoning my meat as I want, which you can do the same thing that you can use what you have at home. I'm always using same spices. I try to stay away from a lot of salty spices, but it's sometimes I do, like, I don't know about the tandoori masala. I don't know what it includes, and I added a little bit of bicarbonate of soda. You don't need to. The reason I added it is because the meat, I was supposed to use it differently than how I used it. As I was seasoning here, I had forgotten that I want to put these inside my rolls, so I did not need to put the paprika and the tandoori masala, because that meant that is going to change the color of my rolls. Hence I ended up not putting them inside my rolls like I wanted to. But normally I don't add paprika and any other thing. I just use garlic powder, onion powder, and anything that does not have color. But I forgot this time. I forgot. So while I asked the YouTube to pan fry that for me, and then I started on peeling potatoes, which I'm going to cut them into wedges and deep fry them. It's going to be part of the meal. I'm actually cooking junk today. I am cooking junk, and that's okay. Once in a while we need junk, so I'm making junk. I've just realized something. I used to watch a lot of that Food Network program. I think it was called Diners. It was on Diners, Drives, and Dives. Some sort of. It was hosted by a guy named Guy. I forgot his name. He had a funky hairstyle, and had liked to put glasses like at the top of his head, and we don't have things like that in South Africa. We don't have the diners where they cook home cooked meals. The meals that you grew up your mama making them, and we don't have those. We don't have a comfort food joint. Aside from, I'm not talking about tlhakwana or tribe and scope and all of this. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about comfort food, like your mac and cheese, your spaghetti bolognese, your chips, and we don't have those in South Africa. I think that would be lovely if one could. If I didn't feel like cooking and I want to go out, it would be nice for me not to be forced to choose between junk, or how do I put it, fast food and fancy restaurants. If I could be able to go to a simple diner and have my meal there, but we don't have that in South Africa. So I just applied should I say smeared margarine on my casseroles, and I'm going to shape my rolls into those two casseroles, although I ended up using another small one to make to put my rolls. Here's the thing. If you want to have uniformed rolls, you need to, this dough, you see this whole dough, you need to turn it into a ball and then cut it into equal pieces. Majority of the time triangles are easy to do that. If you can't do that, that means you have to use a scale to make sure that your to make sure that your rolls are equal, are of equal size. I don't do that. I'm not going to. I eyeball it, but that comes with experience. Nah, it comes with experience. I eyeball the sizes, and by the grace of God, I always somewhat get them right. Not all the time, but somewhat I do get them right. So I eyeball everything. I know the size. Like if I'm making a size, I know how it feels on my hand. I know, like when I'm doing the shaping here, I know how it fits in my hand. Then I can easily tell if it's small or if it's too big. That's how I measure my rolls. That's how I measure my dough, because imagine me having to scale everything. Ooh, I couldn't. I cannot. I would never. So I just boil it. I just eyeball everything. I just eyeball them, and then I would get the same sizes most of the time. I am using cone head cabbage. Since my plan has changed from the original plan, I'm going to uh, slice this cabbage, and then I will add a little bit of onion, and I will add what we call chilies, green chili as well. And I'm going to add my meat in there, adjust the seasoning because the meat is seasoned already. And I'm going to be adding balsamic vinegar, sesame oil, and I will add more salt if needs be. So that's what I'm going to use. It is not how do I put it, it's soft. It's borderline, it's on borderline on the lettuce side, if I may put it, the way it tastes. So it wasn't too sharp or anything. It was easy to consume. It didn't even feel like I was having raw cabbage. It didn't taste, it wasn't sharp. It didn't have that sharp taste. It was easy. It was easy on the tongue, on the palate, and all of that. So I enjoyed it. This was a makeshift. It's not what I intended to do, but I enjoyed it. These are my rolls after being proved for at 30 minutes at least, and then I baked them at 180 up until golden brown. And the settings of the oven will determine how you bake them. I bake mine 10 on top with fan, and then the bottom 10 minutes with fan as well. It's tricky. It's tricky, but it's 10 minutes on top, 10 minutes at the bottom. Anything more than that, they get burnt. So it took me a while to figure it out. But funny enough, that's not how my oven used to work when we first came here. But after being fixed twice, I don't know. So I did add balsamic vinegar, and then I added herbs, and I added chili flakes onto there. Season it however you want it. If you have red wine vinegar or white wine vinegar, that will also do. This was a makeshift. Like I said, it's not how I intended to use the meat, but because of me over seasoning my meat, I cannot put the meat onto my rolls, because they're going to come out looking red, and we do not want that. After cutting the rolls in half, I added mozzarella on top. This is where I was supposed to add the beef as well, but because of my over seasoning, I decided not to, because my rolls were going to look somewhat red. So I decided not to. Another thing that I've realized, I'm just wondering, have they degrammed the mozzarella balls, like that one, the ball, that small ball that we used to buy? Because I bought one and I could only do one casserole. That didn't make sense to me. I used to be able to make 4 pizzas, if anything 3 pizzas, with that size of mozzarella. So for me to just do one casserole, that didn't make sense to me at all. So anyway, I did that and put the top on top, and then I am making sure that I'm cutting the bottom ones, and then I'm gonna put it back into the oven up until the mozzarella melt a little bit. We don't want to burn the rolls in any way, so we're not going to put them in there for long. So we are, while that is in the oven, we are going to start by dishing for Mr. M. We dish for the king first. For the king, the master, the head of the house, the man of the house. Like I said before, his plate is the one that we start with. He's the one who finances everything. Therefore, we start with him. And then the wedges are ready as well. I deep fried them off camera. I mean, there's nothing special about deep frying potatoes. So I just deep fried the potatoes, and the rolls are back from the oven, and I am going to dish out two for him. If I go and eat junk, this is what I want to eat. My plate must look something like this. Nah, that's what I want to eat. This is how it's supposed to look. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. This was our dinner. I hope to see you on my next video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. See you next time. Bye.